ദില്ലിയിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ധനമന്ത്രി തോമസ് ഐസക് മാധ്യമങ്ങളെ കാണുകയാണ് തത്സമയം.
Yeah, there will be a discussion on demonetization at the end of the
meeting there by 5 it will be over, sir. The GST council meeting. That will be over by 5 o'clock.
That's a decision. It has been repeated. I have my flight. A lot of people have their flights.
So what time is your flight?
No. There's no chance here. Flight is 6. Reporting time is 5. Hopefully, Delhi weather will save me my flight.
So aren't you going back to the council meeting?
I'm going rushing to bed. So it will be a quick affair.
There is no consensus.
No.
GST council is going to vote for the first time? Decision by vote?
No. Everybody knows the outcome. Unless there is a vast majority of the states also come together with the center, you cannot take a decision.
So how many of you are not in the center? Majority of states?
See, anyway, they need 75% of the vote.
It's not there.
That they won't get. എല്ലാവരും ചോറിൻ്റെയാണെന്നുള്ളൊരു ധാരണയിലാണ്. Pardon?
Any chances that dual control issue will be discussed?
It will be taken up 2:30. That's why I want to rush back.
And only then all the laws will be...
If that is settled, the law can go to Parliament, no problem.
Okay, once there's a consensus or a discussion...
So it depends whether union is willing to concede our position.
Compromise. They think that will be...
We are not willing to compromise on that. Yes.
So first in English.
The Union Finance Minister the other day said that demonetization and GST are two events that are going to take into a new level of growth. Definitely demonetization, the GST rollout would have a positive impact upon economic growth. But the extent of its impact is totally exaggerated. Be that may, I don't think there will be two voices. What would be the impact of the demonetization in the short term and medium term? Now, crores of people are unemployed. They have lost their job. If they work, they can't get their wages. And the small factories or agriculturists who employ them, they can replenish their working capital. So petty production has been very hit very hard. And even trade. But what has happened in the last few days is the crisis has spread to the organized sector. The organized sector workers, employees who were supposed to get their wages in the first week of December, find even if the money has been transferred to their accounts, they cannot withdraw more than 24,000 rupees legally, but in practical terms, something like 10,000 rupees, many times in 4,000 rupees and so on. And it is also reported there is going to be already impact, say, on automobile sector, reports have come. So there is going to be a severe downturn. Now, even Fitch has said 1% decline in the growth rate. Well, for 3.5% has been predicted by Ambit. Even if you take the 2% the median statement of Dr. Manmohan Singh, it means something like loss of production of 2.5 lakh crores of rupees. Now, what is going to be the gain of this demonetization in terms of, say, the black money that would be unearned? In the beginning of this exercise, Union Finance Minister was saying that minimum of 3 lakh crores rupees minimum would be unearned. That will be a windfall gain to the Reserve Bank and ultimately to the Union government, and there were many kind of proposals of what goodies they are going to do with this money. But now we have the data regarding the number of notes that have been returned to the banking system, which was 8.5 lakh crores rupees on 26th. And since then, it is now reported that 11.5 lakh crores of 500,000 rupee notes have come back into the banking system. Now, if this trend continues for the rest of the month, we don't know how many notes that will be rejected by the system, and ultimately it will become the windfall gain of the Reserve Bank. So even if you give a very generous estimate of 1 lakh crores of rupees, you have sacrificed 2.5 lakh crores rupees of national product for unearthing 1.1 lakh crores of rupees of black money. Now this is a balance sheet. It's an enterprise that has totally failed. It's already very clear. And that's why the Prime Minister is shifting the goalpost to cashless economy and so on and so forth. Now, no one is opposed to that. Yeah, we should move to cashless economy and plastic money and so on. But which country in the world has demonetized so that you force the pace of the move towards cashless economy? The demonetization is such a disruptive act, and is already evident today. And very strangely, the government which wants to promote plastic money and say curb the black money is now printing 2,000 rupee notes. All over the world, the approach has been you reduce the printing of the high denomination notes so that small denominations take care of small people's needs, and all of the higher, larger transactions are conducted in plastic money. So what it reveals is a total lack of strategic vision and plan, you see. It has been ad hocism from the beginning to the end. Every day decisions are made, knee-jerk decisions. For example, Jan Dhan accounts. It has been trumpeted as the big achievement of this government. There are nearly, say, something like 1.8 crores of Jan Dhan accounts. Well, now restrictions has been imposed upon them that one can withdraw money only up to 10,000 rupees. Why? What is the rationale? Now it is stated that a lot of black money has been parked in the Jan Dhan accounts. I have the data. The total deposits in the Jan Dhan has risen by 25,876 crores.
Can you please repeat that figure?
25,876 crores in the last 1 week, from 4th to 8th to 1 week after 8th. Now, what is the average deposit? Average deposit only 14,330. Now, how many accounts are more than 20 lakh rupees?
ധനമന്ത്രി തോമസ് ഐസക്കിന്റെ വാർത്താ സമ്മേളനം പുരോഗമിക്കുകയാണ്. തത്സമയ സംപ്രേഷണത്തിൽ
The central government has not thought it prudent to have a discussion with the finance ministers or the state governments. Can there be more callous attitude to what is happening in the country? Today in the GST Council, we raised this issue, and it was decided there would be a discussion on the revenue loss of states in the evening, later in the evening of the meeting, fag end of the meeting. So this atmosphere, this events, the demonetization, has indeed vitiated the entire atmosphere in which the deliberations in the empowered committee and GST council so far been taking place. We are all in favor of GST, want that to roll out, but central government should not think that they can have their way every time. Constitutional amendment has been passed. Many crucial decisions like rate structure and so on, which have important political, ideological issues, aspects, have been resolved. And finally, everything is stuck up with how to administer this tax, what would be the relative power of the central government, relative power of the state government. State governments have all taken the view that there being a government closer to the people, the small producers and service providers should be primarily administered by them. And council also took a decision with respect to goods that the threshold of 1.5 crores, that horizontal division will take place. No, that decision was made with respect to services. Now, what can the concession be given to the states? Why should the center be so intransigent view regarding how the administrative structure be? There are 2.5 lakh government employees with the state government who are involved in the tax collection. While for the central government, the indirect taxes employees may be something like something around 70,000 crores, 70,000. And even taking as a proportion of the relative strength of the staff, what the suggestion states put forward is, I think, very relevant. Not to speak about relative collection of tax. So the actual collection of tax by below 1.5 would be not more than 10% of the total whole collection, you see. So what is this cribbing about? So this is a position that we have taken, that there will not be a compromise on this. And if central government is willing to concede this demand of the states, and then there is nothing to stand in the way of tabling the law in the parliament. If not, well, we may have to wait for more discussions and perhaps September before GST is rolled out. We will know the decision, say, another few hours, because we are going to consider the dual empowerment model in the afternoon. Okay, thank you.
So, you said there are like 2.5 lakh employees and the entire status. If you do not get the right of dual control, does it mean there will be job losses at the level of state when it comes to state employees?
No, there won't be a case of job losses and so on. No, there won't be. Because there can be underemployment, no job losses. But we are more concerned about the fact that, the new tax will create some resentment. Let's face the fact. Though the incidence of tax comes down because cascading effect is gone, excise, service and VAT tax have been integrated, there will be a decline in the incidence. But earlier, nobody would find out what was the service tax and excise tax paid. The VAT tax was on top of the excise tax. So people would see only 14.5. Now they may find, say, 28% and can create resentment. Service tax would be relatively going up a bit. So it can create a lot of resentment among the smaller traders and service providers. In the sense, the perception can be different. They may not fully perceive the fact that the incidence of tax come down. Therefore, state government is much better, equipped to deal with that situation. And this is the concern.
So when do you see the issue of cross empowerment getting resolved, and will this also delay passage of GST laws in the parliament? Because IGST has provisions for giving administrative control to states as well as center.
You're absolutely right. That's what I'm saying. If center is not willing to make a concession, there will be, the council will not be able to pass this, resolve this model law. Therefore, it cannot be presented in the parliament this session. But if today in the afternoon, the union government concedes the demand of the state, well, then you have a deal.
So you said in Gujarat what there was a carnage happened, and about the country, can it be called an economic carnage?
And
what Modi did in the demonetization.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Everybody accepts, everybody knows, the world over, what happened in Gujarat. But he wrote through it, making heroics out of the terrible tragedy. Something similar pattern is emerging, you see. The calamity is evident to you all around, you see, and not to this Prime Minister. Instead, he wants to beat up a false patriotism and sense of sacrifice and ride on that wave. In fact, this is something not action which came, approach which is adopted later, but something right from the beginning. The whole theatrics involved in announcing it and so on, say very carefully calibrated, say telecast, and so on and so forth, what happened, kind of emotional surcharged, querying voice in which nation was addressed, and later when he returned, all points to this theatrics.
But what do you say about the secrecy? He was saying that the secrecy was a must, that he had to.
Well, but one thing is evident today, the minimum precautions were not taken, you see. It's simple things, the kind of trays in the ATMs and the size of the notes, it seems nobody seems to have checked it. Or the time that would take for printing on the notes and so on. What would have prevented anybody from having the notes printed, at least a substantial amount, and kept? So, it would appear something had forced the hand of the Prime Minister. And most generous explanation has been provided by the Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog that there must have been a leak. Said a lot of people knew about it. See. And as the number of people who knew about it increased, it has become very imperative that he, in fact, prepone his declaration. I think something in that story. Otherwise, one cannot understand how this totally stupid act could have been declared. It's crazy. Yeah? Just one day to remove 86% of your purchasing power and assume nothing is going to happen.
So now that the deposit limits, deposits are going up, it is very close to the actual amount of money in circulation. Do you think that the scheme was actually unrequired and the government, in its estimation of black money, of fake currency and terror funding to the currency was absolutely on the wrong side?
No, regarding the black money, I think it's underestimated. There are much more black money. But regarding the capability of black money the hoarders, well, they underestimated the strength and cleverness. Only poor and the ordinary people have been caught in the dragnet. They have to make sacrifices for what? All the black money people have been able to launder the money they have in so many ways. And now it is fairly reported how it is all done in very places.
But maybe I myself and I think there's a kind of cleaning up in the real estate sector. So stamp duty would have to be decreased.
Unacceptable. Now these are powers of the state. Niti Aayog didn't dabble with these taxation powers of the state. All the states have only very little taxation powers. Now Niti Aayog don't want to have a meddle with the states. No. We are not going to have a discussion with any Niti Aayog on our taxation rates. And by the way, while Niti Aayog makes this statement, suddenly one note has emerged in our GST Council where GST wants to be imposed upon the transfer of land. Okay? Now GST rates are minimum 12 and then up to 28, I don't know what, which would mean directly opposite of that. The tax on property transfer is going to rise if GST is going to come. And the logic presented in the note is that, well, a state has already collected a stamp duty, that can be given as an input credit. Okay. So anyway, the GST Council note in fact goes totally opposite to what Niti Aayog said. There would be an implicit rise in the property tax. Yes, sir.
How the primary cooperatives can survive in the present?
See, Kerala is situation is very different from the rest of India. Many parts of India, not rest of India, many parts of India. Cooperatives play a very, very important role. In fact, deposits in Kerala, primary cooperatives, is more than 50% of total cooperative deposits in India. And is spread is almost equivalent to the commercial banks in Kerala. The deposits in the cooperative banks would be 1/3 of the deposits in the commercial bank. Now, there has been a big tussle going on. For us, our tradition, these cooperative societies grew as that they would mobilize money, and they involve themselves in providing a number of services to farmers and local people. Now suddenly the Vaidyanathan Commission said they shouldn't do that. And we thought it would be a great lost opportunity. So this contest has been going on. So then it has been said that you can use the term bank if you are indulging that. Now if you don't have that banking level, you cannot gather deposits from non-members. So this fight has been going on in Kerala. And this opportunity is being used by the center to teach Kerala a lesson. Scuttle the cooperative system. See, do you know what's happening? The primary cooperatives, nobody can withdraw money. Not even 24,000 rupees. So what is happening? The depositors are taking the money through checks or drafts to other commercial banks so they can withdraw this 24,000 rupees. They are creating a run on the bank. So still we can service this demand because they have 40,000 crores of rupees deposited by the primary cooperatives in the district cooperatives and the commercial banks. But then Reserve Bank says you can withdraw only 24,000 rupees. Who? The cooperative banks which have deposited 40,000 crores of rupees. They are treated like individuals. Now, if this is not a conspiracy to create a run on the banks and destroy them, what is it? Let somebody explain. Only explanation is given is that there is black money there. There is black money in the commercial banks also. But suppose there is okay, there is black money. You are permitting only withdrawal of 24,000 rupees. Even that is withdrawn, there will be still trace. Somebody rupee in a cooperative bank, even if 24,000 is withdrawn or more is withdrawn, still enforcement agency can go and look, okay, this fellow had an account, and where did you get this, what is your source of fund? They could investigate. But then this is used as an opportunity to destroy the cooperative sector in Kerala. And that's what Supreme Court comment showed a concern for what is happening.
It's a monopoly of the control of the CPM in the Congress.
Now, unfortunately, BJP shouldn't try to make any search for shortcuts in Kerala. Let them work among the people and gain the support.
So the recent clarification by the Income Tax Department on gold, that a married lady can hold up to 500 grams of gold, a male person can hold up to 100 grams, and an unmarried lady can hold up to 250 grams. How do you see such clarifications coming? Why are they coming now?
It has been in the statutes for so long here, nothing new. But somebody thought now from notes we are going to gold, and from gold we go to land, from land to Switzerland. These are all, this is what I call theatrics, isn't it? It's drama being played out before the nation here.
Can you estimate the real revenue loss for Kerala after this demonetization, say for 3 months or so?
I beg your pardon, sir?
After demonetization, what will be the revenue loss for Kerala?
Oh,
Say for
okay, I can give you a descriptive thing. Our lottery, zero. We are getting 2,000 crores a year from that, 2,500, zero. Our registration stamp duty, it will be less than 50%. Motor vehicles tax, it will be 25% down. VAT tax, it will be minimum 40% down. That's our estimate. So overall the revenues will decline by something like nearly 35 to 40%.
You want the center to compensate the states for this loss?
We would demand that, but nobody expects center to do any such thing. At least till now they could say there was going to be a windfall gain that they're going to give us also part of it. Now you can't say that. So all that is being asked us, permit us to borrow more at least to tide over this crisis.
Sir, West Bengal Chief Minister Ms. Mamata Banerjee have already started nationwide protest regarding this issue, and she's asking everyone, every opposition political party leaders to join hands with her. Do you support her moves? Or
We have difficulty in joining with Mamata Banerjee, for the reasons. So we are less like in the last All India protest action. We are having parallel action.
But Doctor, CPM and Trinamool Congress went together to meet the president.
Yeah, that in Parliament and outside we will coordinate our activities. That is the.
Sir, on GST, if you could tell us what should we expect in the next 15 days? Yesterday's meeting was inconclusive. There are clause by clause discussions that have to happen on the bill.
You will know it by 5 o'clock. If there is no decision on cross empowerment today, there is no GST law in the Parliament this term.
And there are no chance of voting, sir? Voting in the council?
One doesn't have to vote. See, you need 75% votes to take a resolution. So one can get a sense of the House.
Sir, how many states are uh, sharing your stand as far as cross-empowerment is concerned?
How many?
States are sharing the same stand as yours? Below, horizontal below.
Look, one time or other, all states have taken by this position. Now, of course, ultimately, political views take a upper hand. So, NDA governments have generally shifted, but not given up, shifted. But other states, many other states are very firm with it, which are not one variety. It's a rainbow. So they have, it's a very, but anyway, large enough number of states to.
Is there any BJP ruled state also which is opposing?
Pardon?
Is there any BJP ruled state also which is opposing?
No, I don't know.
Which is with you? Which is not with the Center on Cross Empowerment? Any BJP ruled state?
No, one has to take a decision, the council only, then can be gone to the parliament. Because constitution says GST council will take the decision.
So you were there in the first half of the meeting. What is the mood like? What should we expect today? Should there be...
No,
some
everything is,
reconciliation?
the mood is very cordial. We have been discussing the law. You see, there are different opinions. You don't wrangle with each other. No, we are all after all gentlemen. So,
So what I'm asking is, what I'm trying to ask, sir, is that...
no, we have been very carefully going through how to define agriculture, what are things should come, and so on and so forth. Very involved debate. I mean, it's in fact very instructive to listen to all this because so many nuances and so it's a very useful discussion, I would say.
Coming back to the secrecy involved in the demonetization project, there are reports that even the finance minister was not told about it, and till date he has not denied it, those reports. As a finance minister, at least of a state, how do you look at it? How prudent it was to keep him?
Now I don't know. Only my knowledge is limited to what Subramania Swami said. I am not privy to state secrets at the center, so I don't know. But Subramania Swami obviously is, and he says that. But I do not know how decision-making process is there in Modi's times, because the whole procedures are being a short circuit. Yes, last question.
Well,
Malayalam. Eh? Okay, Malayalam. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ് രമേശ് ചെന്നിത്തലയുടെ നിലപാട് BJPയുടെ നിലപാടാണ്. കോൺഗ്രസ് കേരളത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു നിലപാട് സ്വീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന അത്യധികം വിചിത്രമാണ്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഒരുമിച്ച് തന്നെ നിൽക്കണം, സമരം ചെയ്യണം എന്നെല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞു വന്ന് കണ്ടതിന് ശേഷം ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ BJP പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ ആവർത്തിക്കുന്നത് എന്തിനെന്ന് എനിക്കറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ. പക്ഷെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രയാസം മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റും. അപ്രസക്തമായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ് പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ്. പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ് എന്താണ് പറയുന്നത് നോട്ട് റദ്ദാക്കലിനെ കുറിച്ച് എന്ന് ആരെങ്കിലും അന്വേഷിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്? കേരളത്തിലെ വൈകുന്നേരം നടക്കുന്ന TV ഡിബേറ്റുകളിൽ എവിടെ കോൺഗ്രസ്സുകാർ? തങ്ങളുടെ തന്നെ ചെയ്തി കൊണ്ട് നിലപാട് കൊണ്ട് അപ്രസക്തമായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ജാള്യത മറക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമമാണ് ഈ പ്രസ്താവന എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഇത് പ്രഖ്യാപനം വന്നപ്പോൾ എന്തേ പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ് പ്രതികരിക്കാതിരുന്നത്? നിയമസഭയിൽ എൻ്റെ പ്രസ്താവന കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ലേ എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയാൻ പറ്റിയത്? അതുകൊണ്ട് ഡിമോണിറ്റൈസേഷൻ എന്താണെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കണ്ട. പറയുന്നത് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതൊന്നും ചെയ്തില്ലെന്ന്. ചെയ്യേണ്ട കാര്യങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് കോൺഗ്രസ് വന്നൊരു കുറിപ്പ് തന്നല്ലോ. ആ പറഞ്ഞ കുറിപ്പിൽ എന്ത് കാര്യം ചെയ്യാതിരുന്നിട്ടുള്ളത് അദ്ദേഹം പറയട്ടെ. ഇവിടെ ഇന്ത്യ രാജ്യത്ത് നോട്ട് കറൻസി അച്ചടിക്കാനുള്ള അധികാരം കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിനുള്ളെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടെ? സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന കാര്യം സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. എന്ത്? ഓരോ ജീവനക്കാരൻ്റെയും പെൻഷൻകാരൻ്റെയും അക്കൗണ്ടിലേക്ക് അവരുടെ മാസത്തെ അർഹതയുള്ള പെൻഷനും ശമ്പളവും ഇട്ട് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതവിടെ നിന്ന് കാശെ പിൻവലിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിൽ നിന്ന് കറൻസി കിട്ടണം. ഇതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് 13-ാം തീയതി 20-ാം തീയതി ജെയ്റ്റ്ലിയുമായിട്ട് കണ്ടു. മുഖ്യമന്ത്രിയുമായിട്ട് ജെയ്റ്റ്ലിയെ കണ്ടു. 24-ാം തീയതി ജെയ്റ്റ്ലിക്ക് ഔപചാരികമായിട്ട് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞ് കത്തയച്ചു. റിസർവ് ബാങ്കിന് കത്തയച്ചു. മറുപടി കിട്ടാതെ വന്നപ്പോൾ 29-ാം തീയതി ഇവരുടെ യോഗം വിളിച്ചു ചേർത്തു. അതിന് ഫലം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവിൻ്റെ പാർട്ടി ഭരിക്കുന്ന സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ 10,000 രൂപ വെച്ചൊക്കെ കൊടുക്കുന്നു. കേരളത്തിലെ ട്രഷറികളിൽ നിന്ന് 24,000 കുറച്ച് കൊടുത്തിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അടിസ്ഥാനരഹിതമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ വിളിച്ചു പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് വരുന്നത് ആരെ പ്രീണിപ്പിക്കാനാണെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞു. ഈ BJPയുടെ ബി ടീമായിട്ട് കളിക്കില്ലേ? കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ അവകാശങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഈ കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ നിലപാടിനെതിരായി സമരം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് പകരം ഇതിപ്പോൾ ഈ വർത്താനമായിട്ട് ഇറങ്ങിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അതിനൊക്കെ അതിനെ അർഹിക്കുന്ന വില കൊടുക്കാൻ തയ്യാറുള്ളൂ. ചോദ്യങ്ങളാവും. എന്തോ
സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് സർക്കാർ ജീവനക്കാർക്കുള്ള ശമ്പള വിതരണം മുടങ്ങുന്ന കാര്യം ധനമന്ത്രി അറിഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ലെന്നും ആന്ധ്രയിലും തമിഴ്നാട്ടിലും മുൻകൂട്ടി കണ്ട് കൃത്യമായ നടപടി എടുത്തു എന്നാണ് പ്രതിപക്ഷ.
അതെ അതെ അതെ. RSSകാർ കുറച്ച് നാളായിട്ട് ഒരു പോസ്റ്റർ കൊണ്ട് സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ കിടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. തമിഴ്നാട്ടിൽ അക്കൗണ്ടുകളിൽ പണമെത്തി എന്നാണ് പോസ്റ്ററിൽ പറയുന്നത്. അതിൽ തന്നെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ പണമെത്തി 10,000 രൂപ 4,000 രൂപ വെച്ചാൽ കൊടുക്കണമെന്ന്. ഇതേ ഏത് ലോകത്താണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്? ഇപ്പം കേരളത്തിൽ തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കുന്നു. കേരളത്തിന് പുറത്തുനിന്ന് അന്വേഷിക്കുന്നത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പാർട്ടി ഭരിക്കുന്ന സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് വിളിക്കുക. അവിടെയൊക്കെ എത്ര രൂപ വെച്ചാൽ കൊടുക്കണമെന്നുള്ളത്. എന്താ ആന്ധ്ര പറഞ്ഞത്? അതിന് 2,500 കോടി കിട്ടിയെന്നുള്ളത്. അതല്ലേ കേരളത്തിന് കിട്ടാൻ പോകുന്നത്. 24,000 വെച്ച് കൊടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഇത്രയും പണം വേണം. ആ തരുന്ന റിസർവ് ബാങ്ക് പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നേ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊക്കെ എന്താ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ അടിസ്ഥാനരഹിതമായ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇദ്ദേഹം പറയണത്? എനിക്ക് ഒറ്റ ന്യായമായിട്ടൊരു ഊഹമുള്ളൂ. ഈ അപ്രസക്തനായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ ജാളിത മറക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമമാണ്. ഇതൊക്കെ പ്രതീകാത്മകമാണെന്ന്. എന്ത് ചെലവ് ചുരുക്കണ്ടേ? ഇപ്പം മന്ത്രിമാരെല്ലാം സെക്കൻഡ് ഫ്ലൈറ്റിൽ എക്കോണമി ക്ലാസ്സിലേ പോകുന്നുള്ളൂ. അനാവശ്യ ചെലവുകൾ ഒരുപാട് മന്ത്രിമാരോട്ടൊക്കെ ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് കുറച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതൊക്കെ സിംബോളിക്കാണ്. അതൊക്കെ അതിൻ്റെ പ്രാധാന്യമുണ്ട്, ഞാൻ തള്ളിക്കളയുന്നില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടൊന്നും ഈ പ്രശ്നം തീരാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല. ഏതായാലും വികസന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളൊന്നും ചുരുക്കാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുമില്ല. ക്ഷേമ പെൻഷനൊന്നും വെട്ടിക്കുറക്കാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നില്ല. എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും പണം ഉണ്ടാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങൾ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാനാണ് ശ്രമിക്കാം. ഇപ്പോൾ ചർച്ചയുണ്ടാകുമ്പോൾ ചോദിക്കണം തീരുമാനം എന്തായി എന്നുള്ളത്. അതിപ്പോൾ തിരിച്ച് ചെന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രിമാരുടെ ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥന്മാരുടെ മീറ്റിംഗ് എടുക്കണം. ആ അതാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട 3 വകുപ്പുകളില്ലേ, എക്സൈസിൻ്റെ അവരുടെ അല്ലേ ബിവറേജ് ധനവകുപ്പ്, കാരണം ട്രഷറിയിലേക്കുള്ള വെയ്സ് ആൻഡ് മീൻസിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗം അവിടെ നിന്നല്ലേ വരുന്നത്, സഹകരണം. അപ്പോൾ 3 മന്ത്രിമാരും സെക്രട്ടറിമാരും ഒക്കെ ഇരുന്ന് ചർച്ച ചെയ്തിട്ട് വേണം സമയം തീരുമാനിക്കാൻ. പക്ഷെ അങ്ങനെ നിർദ്ദേശമുണ്ട്. ആ നിർദ്ദേശത്തെ തത്വത്തിൽ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തിട്ടുമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അതിൻ്റെ പ്രായോഗിക നടപടികൾ നമ്മൾ ആലോചിക്കേണ്ടി വരും.
ഈ റിയൽ എസ്റ്റേറ്റ് മേഖല കേരളത്തിൽ എങ്ങനെ ബാധിച്ചു? സുതാര്യമായ ഒരു ഇടപാടാണ് നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നതെന്ന് സർക്കാർ അവകാശപ്പെടുമ്പോഴേ എങ്ങനെയാണ് കേരളത്തിൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ വരിക?
റിയൽ എസ്റ്റേറ്റിൻ്റെ
കച്ചവടങ്ങൾ കൂടാവുന്നോ കുറയാവുന്നോ?
കുറയുമല്ലോ, സംശയമില്ല. കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രശ്നം ഒന്ന് ഡിമോണിറ്റൈസേഷൻ വഴി കറൻസി ക്ഷാമം മാത്രമല്ല, ഇത് സൃഷ്ടിച്ച അനിശ്ചിതാവസ്ഥ ഗൾഫിൽ നിന്നുള്ള വരുമാനത്തെ വളരെ പ്രതികൂലമായിട്ട് ബാധിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇതാണ് ഗൗരവമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം. ആരും അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് വേണ്ടത്ര ചിന്തിക്കുന്നില്ല. നമ്മെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഗൾഫിൽ നിന്നുള്ള വരുമാനത്തിനുണ്ടാവുന്ന കുത്തനെയുള്ള ഇടിവ് കാരണം ഇവിടെ പൈസ കൊടുത്താൽ പണം അയച്ചാൽ നോട്ട് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ ഇല്ലെന്ന് അറിയത്തില്ല. അതിൻ്റെ അനിശ്ചിതത്വം മൂലം ഗൾഫിൽ തന്നെ പണം സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള താല്പര്യം കൂടുന്നു. എന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല, രൂപയുടെ വില ഇനിയും ഇടിയും എന്നൊരു തോന്നലുള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് ഇന്ന് കുറച്ചും കൂടി ഇടിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അയക്കാം എന്നും ചിന്തിക്കാം. ഫലം ഒന്ന് തന്നെ, നാട്ടിലേക്ക് ഗൾഫിൽ നിന്നുള്ള പണവരുമാനം ഗണ്യമായിട്ട് കുറയും. അത് വലിയ പ്രത്യാഘാതങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കും. സോ താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.
തോമസ് ഐസക് ദില്ലിയിൽ മാധ്യമങ്ങളെ കാണുകയായിരുന്നു. നോട്ട് പ്രതിസന്ധി ഉൽപാദന മേഖലയെ ബാധിച്ചു എന്നടക്കമുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് അദ്ദേഹം ദില്ലിയിൽ വാർത്താ സമ്മേളനത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞത്.